Let's do a review of what we know for certain happened in this tragic accident over in India. What we know for sure is this: that airplane achieved lift, right? It rotate. We saw it rotate off the ground and get airborne. And it seemed as though the engines were producing full or close to full thrust when it rotated, and the nose and the main mount wheels lifted off the ground. Shortly after that, within seconds, it appears that the wings lost lift. Now, we talked initially in the first video about things that could produce a loss of lift in the wings. One would be a dual engine failure. The other would be a reconfiguration of the wings. And that fell into two categories. The airplane took off with no flaps, which was just preposterous. It's virtually impossible to do that in these modern jets. And the other was an inadvertent mistake by one of the pilots where they might have prematurely raised the flaps. I'm glad to say at this point that that has been put to bed. That did not happen. And a lot of people say, well, you were casting dispersions on those pilots or their training or their background. Not at all. I have the greatest and utmost respect for all of my foreign pilot friends. These guys are absolutely geniuses. They are terrific at what they do. They got great training, sometimes better than the training I get, and they do everything they do in a second language. The international language of aviation is English. That's my first tongue. That's their second tongue. They do all of that in a separate language. My hat is off to them. They do an incredible job. So don't go down the road if I was casting dispersion on those two pilots. Those guys were earned where they were, and they did a valiant job of trying to save that airplane. They were really the heroes, and I wish it had turned out better, right? Because hats off to both of those pilots. Now, so that one has been put to bed. Now, last video, we got into some things that are the hard and fast that we know. What do we know so far for certain about this accident? We know that the RAT deployed. What's the RAT? That's the ram air turbine. That is a little mechanism that, in a case of extreme emergency, will drop down out of the bottom, the fuselage of the airplane. It's towards the right back on a 787, right at the back of the wings where the flaps come out, but it's in the fuselage. It's there as a last resort to provide some electricity and enough hydraulic pressure to fly the airplane. It's really designed to deploy in case there's a dual engine failure at altitude. So let's say you're at 35,000 feet and both engines flame out for some reason, and you can still glide someplace, but you've lost all electric and all hydraulic, and maybe you're